My name is Emmanuel Dlamini. I come from Swaziland. I'm presently the chair of the African group, and my term is ending this coming December. It's time that environment ministers, they start looking into synergies on how to uphold the commitments. We all have a commitment under the convention, as they are outlined in Article 4. Those commitments are for all parties. Of course, within those commitments, it clearly states that the level at which developing countries will be able to achieve the objective of the convention will depend on the level of commitment by developed countries. So if we don't see real commitment in developing countries, it means the process or the initiatives that we're taking remains inadequate. So how do you make them adequate? Because that's the only way to address the problem. Of course, we do want to see an adequate and fair process that takes into account specific needs and special circumstances of parties. It's easy to say that, but it's difficult. So we would like to see the ministers unblocking that, because quite often we know very well that ambitions and finance are political. And as technicians, we cannot unblock the challenges that are there. So we're calling upon the ministers to unlock those challenges. Climate change is a cross-cutting issue. It's an issue for everybody. It's not an issue for only the negotiators and the ministers. It's an issue for every human being. So it is important to start identifying the kind of roles you can play, or probably you can bring to the attention of the negotiators or the ministers, which you think in your own circle could contribute towards a solution. I think those kind of roles are important. They may be in our blind spot as negotiators and governments, but I think if you can bring them to our attention and then probably see how we can integrate them or work on them or improve them, it will certainly contribute towards solving this problem. In Africa, we think loss and damage is important. We think loss and damage goes beyond adaptation. So we support the idea of an institutional arrangement whereby it might be like a mechanism, and we think that that mechanism has to have executive powers as well as operational powers, so that it is able to link on all the other initiatives that are there, whether they are inside the convention or outside the convention. You know that inside the convention, like I've said, we've established bodies, but outside the convention there are other UN agencies which are dealing with issues of disaster risk reduction, which could probably bring some important elements into the process.